how's it going? My name's Joe, and I'm a huge Batman fan. I have a pretty significant collection of die-cast Batmobiles and other Bat-related vehicles, and my absolute favorite design for the Batmobile is the 1989 Batmobile from the movie. A lot of people call it the Keaton Batmobile. Some people call it the Tim Burton Batmobile. It was actually designed by a man named Anton Furst, who was a production designer on the 1989 movie, and those are all correct. I really get a big kick out of it when I'm reading a comic book and I see where the artist has used the 1989 Batmobile, sometimes just in the background in the Batcave. I think it ranks right up there with other iconic movie and TV show cars like the Ecto-1, the DeLorean Time Machine, even the Millennium Falcon or the Enterprise. So today I want to take a look at my collection of die-cast 1989 Batmobiles. Okay, so first I want to kick off this review with the Hot Wheels 1/18 scale 1989 Batmobile. And this is one of my favorite pieces in my entire collection. It's got really great screen accurate detail, a lot of really cool features. It's super heavy. I'm just really glad I have this in my collection. It's one of my favorite things. So let's take a closer look at it now. Alright, so now I want to show you some of this Batmobile's features. The body of it is mostly die-cast metal. It does have some plastic parts on them. But first of all, the cockpit slides open very easily. And it's got a lot of really nice detail sculpted. Unfortunately, the dials and lights on the dash are all the decals, but it's really cool. Also, the guns, the machine guns that he uses to break into Access chemicals in the movie, these flip up, and these are nice and tight. They're not going anywhere when you move them. They stay in place. So that's really cool. I like that a lot. One of my least favorite features of this car is that the turbine engine pulls out like this, and it looks like a veiny, uncircumcised penis. So I don't do that too often. Unfortunately, the trunk does not open on this one. I think Hot Wheels made an elite version of this Batmobile that is in a different color scheme. It's got a light gray body and a lot of gold trim, and it's not screen accurate. I don't care for it very much, but I believe the trunk on the elite version opens. This car has real rubber tires and screen accurate wheels, and one of my favorite things about this is that it'll be hard to do it on camera, but when you move the wheels, it actually moves the steering wheel, and vice versa. So the attention to detail in this car, I think, is just spectacular. This is the grappling hook launcher, the air-powered grappling hook launcher that he uses in the movie to go around the tight corners, and that looks really nice. Gas tank, I assume that's the gas tank. This seems like a different piece. It's not painted. And the headlights, I think, are inaccurate in the movie. They are yellow or white, it seems like, but here they're kind of a dark burnt orange, and I like the look I like that look actually a lot. So that doesn't bother me that they're not 100% accurate. But these taillights are separate plastic pieces that are glued in place. So there's not very much paint on this thing at all, really. Most of it's the different colored pieces you see are actually different pieces that are applied to the car. And just the amount of detail and quality work that was put into this, I really appreciate it. This is one of my favorite things in my collection. Okay, and so next up is the Jada Metals Die-Cast 1989 Batmobile. It doesn't say anything about it on the packaging, but I think this is supposed to be a 1/24th scale model. It's about 9 inches long. And if you're not familiar with Jada, they make a lot of small characters like this based on movies, TV, and comics. This is Black Widow that I bought for my wife. These are all die-cast metal also. And they go for about $10. So these are pretty much available everywhere, it seems like. The Jada Batmobile here, the 1989 Batmobile, has a lot of really cool features. Chief among them is the die-cast metal Batman figurine that comes with it. Okay, so here's the Batman figurine that comes with this Batmobile. It's from the neck down, it's die-cast metal, but his head and his cape are made out of soft, flexible plastic. And he doesn't have the greatest paint detail, but I'll let it go on such a small figurine like this. One cool thing is, though, he has a screen-accurate bat symbol painted on his chest, so I appreciate that. So now let's go over some of the features of the actual Batmobile. This is mostly die-cast metal. The canopy is plastic, and it slides open very easily. Has some really nice sculpted and a little bit of paint detail on the inside of the cockpit there. Just like the Hot Wheels 1/18 scale version, this has the machine guns that flip up. And they're a little loose, but they pretty much stay in place. This is the only version of the 1989 Batmobile that I have that has an opening trunk, so you can see the thruster. And this has some really, really nice real rubber tires that roll very easily. Okay, so here we have the Eagle Moss 1/43rd scale 1989 Batmobile. And this was the first in a series of over 80 Batmobiles in the Batman Automobilia line that spans movies, comics, and TV shows. And this Batmobile doesn't really have any features, unfortunately. The wheels didn't even roll at first. They had little plastic tabs in there to keep them from rolling that I had to cut. But it's not really meant to roll. It's mostly a collector's type piece that comes in a small acrylic case. And so I understand why they did it, but it just seems counterintuitive to have a die-cast model car that doesn't have rolling wheels. So all the Eagle Moss Batman Automobilia cars come in these plexiglass cases like this, and they come screwed down to the base, and these cases are supposed to stack on top of each other, but they don't stack very well because the screws stick out, the screw heads stick out the bottom of these, and makes them really wobbly. So I don't really care for them too much. This was one of the better ones, but because it comes with a Batman figurine and some barrels like diorama pieces, but they all come with these like three-dimensional lenticular backgrounds. This is supposed to recreate the scene where Batman breaks into Access Chemicals, but it's not really my cup of tea, but it's a little added bonus. Alright, so all the cars in the Batman Automobilia line by Eagle Moss come with these short magazines. They have some details about the movie, about the gadgets that this specific Batmobile has. They have blueprints and schematics that fold out like that. Show you some of the inner workings of the Batmobile. And finally, they also include some information about what was happening with Batman in the comics around the same time the movie came out. Alrighty, so here we have the Hot Wheels 1/50th scale 1989 Batmobile. And I think this originally came out in the early to mid 2000s. I didn't start collecting these until about 2011, and by that time this car was going for a lot of money on eBay, more than I wanted to spend on the secondary market. So the first one I got was the one with the silver battle damage paint job. It's just a paint variant. They're the exact same car, but that car came in a 3-pack. It was Toys R Us exclusive with the Batwing and the Bat Ski Boat. And it was kind of a placeholder in my collection until I got a clean version. Fortunately, in early 2016, to coincide with the release of the Batman vs. Superman movie, Hot Wheels reissued this clean 150 scale 1989 Batmobile. And so I was able to get one for retail price. Really happy to have it in my collection. And it's got a couple nice features. So this Hot Wheels 150 scale Batmobile has some really nice clean paint applications. Looks really sharp. It has an opening cockpit with some nice detail sculpted inside there. And it has real rubber tires. And it rolls very easily. Okay, so these two cars were manufactured by Hasbro in 1997. I'm not exactly sure what scale they're supposed to be. They look really nice next to 1/64 scale cars, but they're significantly larger than the Hot Wheels 1/64 scale 1989 Batmobile. So, like I said, I'm not exactly sure. But I got these two in a set with cars from Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. And these are based on the same mold that was used by Ertl in 1989. The only difference I can tell between these and the Ertl cars is that these don't have the bat symbol painted on the top of the cockpit like the Ertl cars did. But these are more movie accurate for not having it. You can see I have one that's a matte finish and one that's a gloss finish. And these are kind of lower quality cars than a lot of the ones I have in my collection. The metal seems thinner, they don't seem as well made, but I really like this mold a lot. I'm still happy to have these. And as you can see, this Hasbro 1989 Batmobile scales really well with the unofficial, unlicensed Johnny Lightning Joker Goon cars. These are also in 1/64 scale, and this is how I display them in my collection. I think they look really nice together. Okay, so finally we're going to take a look at my Hot Wheels 1/64 scale 1989 Batmobiles. This car in particular came from the entertainment line, which typically focuses on movies, TV shows, cartoons, and those vehicles typically have more and better paint detail than the basic line cars, but it's hard to tell on this one because it's just all black. These cars come at a higher price point. They're usually $5 to $6 at retail, I think. They are all die-cast metal, the top and bottom. Most of the other cars I have are the bodies of the cars are plastic, and just the frame is die-cast. But these cars also come with real rubber tires, and I like this one pretty well, except the wheels are kind of this weird pukey gold color, and it's not screen accurate. Alright, so this is one of the more unique 1989 Batmobiles that I have. It's from the 1/64 scale basic line. It's got this strange silver iridescent paint job with yellow trim and yellow pinstripes. Here's another basic 1/64 scale car. It's a little bit more traditional looking. It's got a blue tinted windshield, and the body it's so dark gray that it is almost black, and super glossy. I really like this one a lot. This car is one of my least favorites of my 1/64 scale Batmobiles. It's got a midnight blue body with blue flames painted on it, and I think this one might have come in a 2-pack or something with a villain car. I'm not 100% certain, but it's okay. But like I said, it's one of my least favorites. Alright, and here's another one that I really like a lot. This is a more traditional looking 89 Batmobile, but it's all black, but it has these really cool red pinstripes on it that remind me of the Adam West 1966 Batmobile. And it's also got a red tinted windshield. This is one of the newest ones in my collection. This is kind of a light gray Batmobile with a blue tinted windshield. And as I'm making this video, this is on shelves right now. And it's pretty cool. I like it. Alright, now this is my favorite of all my 1/64 scale 1989 Batmobiles. Just because it's the most screen accurate. Like, the wheels are off, but other than that, it looks pretty sharp to me. I like this one a lot. I like the finish on it. Alright, so my only real gripe with the Hot Wheels 1/64 scale Batmobiles are that they seem like they're a little too narrow right here. The sides kind of sweep in. Just to give you a comparison, here's that Hasbro / Ertl car, and most of the every other scale model I have of the 89 Batmobile is a little wider right here. So I don't know, I mean, on its own it still looks really nice, but put it side by side next to the other cars and it looks a little off, I think. Okay, so here are all the different scaled 1989 Batmobiles next to each other, so you can get an idea of the difference in size. And first of all, the Hot Wheels 1/18 scale Batmobile, it's 11.5 inches long. I just checked eBay. You can get them for anywhere between $50 to $100. I think $60 to $75 would be totally reasonable for this if you got it new in the box. Keep in mind also that Hot Wheels likes to reissue things like this a lot. So this originally came out in 2003, I believe, and I got mine in the end of 2011 or the beginning of 2012. So it may possibly be reissued eventually. You can keep an eye out for that if you don't want to resort to the secondary market. But anyways, the Jada Metals die-cast version, this is available at retailers now. I've seen it at Walmart and Target for around $20. I think it's totally worth it. If you had to choose one of these and you were on a budget, I think you get the most bang for your buck out of the Jada die-cast metals. Next up is the Eagle Moss 1/43 scale. It's about 5.5 inches long, and I've seen it anywhere from $30 to $50 on eBay. I wouldn't pay that much for it. If you can find it for $20, that's about the most I would spend on it. Really, if I had all these other cars and didn't have that one, I wouldn't be too fussed about it. But at the time, I didn't have a clean, smaller scale 1989 Batmobile, so that's why I decided to buy it. Unless you're just a completist and you wanted all the automobilia cars, I wouldn't really bother with it unless you can get it real cheap. Next is the Hot Wheels 150 scale. It's about 4 3/4 inches long, and this one was at retailers this spring, and I don't know if it's available anymore. It might be hard to find. You can find it on eBay for under $20 typically. The older ones that came out in the mid-2000s or so on those older card backs, those would go for more. But if you can find the like latest reissue of it, like when it came out in 2016, those aren't going for as much now. Anyways, or you can wait until it gets reissued again. I'm sure when the next Batman movie comes out, Hot Wheels will roll back out with these, and you might be able to get this for retail price, which is about $8. This one I checked. This is the Ertl. I'd say it's 1/64 scale. I'm not 100% sure, but it's about 3 3/4 inches long, and you can get this for probably less than $5 on eBay. The Hot Wheels 1/64 scale, it's about 3.5 inches long, and these are, that specific one is not at retail right now, but they reissue this one at least once a year. They're pretty easy to find. I wouldn't pay more than $1 for it unless you really, really had to have it. Don't pay those crazy eBay scalper prices. Alright, so one last thing I thought I'd mention before I sign off here is if you're having a hard time finding these or any other die-cast vehicles that you're looking for, one place that I would try also is car shows. I've had a lot of luck actually at auto shows finding die-cast vehicles. They have vendors there just like comic book conventions or flea markets or whatever, and a lot of times you can haggle with those guys. And keep in mind those are the guys that you see out in front of Toys R Us right before it opens, and they're the reason why you can't find things at retail a lot of times. I've found, they snatch it up before you and I get off work in the evening, and then they mark it up in their shop or in their booth or whatever. And I've had a lot of luck finding hard to find die-cast Batman vehicles at auto shows. And car shows are just still a lot of fun to go to. I'm not a real big car guy, but they usually have replica vehicles from movies and TV shows that are pretty fun to look at. And I've actually seen some replica 1989 Batmobiles at auto shows also. So anyways, just something to keep in mind. But if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. And thanks for all the nice comments and feedback I got on my last video. So you guys take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.